In the Trump effect, the president insists he did not violate campaign finance laws by reimbursing his personal lawyer for a $130,000 payment made to an adult film star. Mr. Trump's newly appointed attorney, Rudy Giuliani, made the explosive revelation that the president repaid Michael Cohen for the money that he paid Stormy Daniels to keep quiet about an alleged affair. The admission from both the president and from Giuliani were both shocking because it contradicted Mr. Trump's previous claims that he knew nothing about Cohen's secret payment.
Did you know about the $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels? Then why did Michael Cohen make it if there was no truth or allegation?
Well, you have to ask Michael Cohen. Michael's my attorney, and you'll have to ask Michael.
Do you know where he got the money to make that payment?
No, I don't know.
This is where it gets a little bit tricky. If President Trump knew about the payment to Stormy Daniels back in 2016, and if it was meant to help the campaign and was not properly disclosed, well, then it would be a campaign finance violation. Let's welcome Vinoo Varghese. He's a criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor. Vinoo, first of all, the campaign finance stuff, is it pretty clear-cut that if somebody like Michael Cohen gives a lot of money to help a campaign and the candidate is covering those expenses, they're both supposed to report this stuff?
Well, it depends on what it's for, right? So the argument that they're putting forth, that Giuliani is putting forth and Cohen is going to be putting forth, is that it was to keep the affair quiet because he didn't want to upset Melania Trump. So as long as, if that's the actual argument that they're making, then technically it doesn't violate campaign finance laws.
But they could use Cohen's words against him because he has previously said, oh yeah, this was to help the president get elected.
They could, but what Giuliani said last night is that this wasn't for campaign finance payment, and that's very clear. So it's very interesting that Giuliani has done this because a lot of people are saying that this was bad and all that. And I was actually surprised when he hired Giuliani. But I actually think Giuliani may have helped him here because he's anticipating the subpoena from Robert Mueller. He's anticipating meetings with the federal government. And so he's setting and basically vaccinating or preventing Donald Trump from getting into more trouble.
Now, one of the ways that Michael Cohen could conceivably get in trouble in all this is there's some thoughts that he might have committed bank fraud, that if he obtained $130,000, as apparently he did through a home equity loan, and if there was an application and he either lied on the application or didn't come clean about the purposes, then that's a violation of bank fraud. If Donald Trump on the front end was helping him with this, then Donald Trump becomes a possible co-conspirator in bank fraud.
Yeah, so they can potentially, the government or Robert Mueller or the Southern District here, the U.S. Attorney here in Manhattan could look at them as co-conspirators to either bank fraud, wire fraud. Look, conspiracy is a catch-all provision. Wire fraud, anything you do, anything over the wires, it's anybody can be guilty of wire fraud, right? But here the interesting thing is, what are they going to say before they go under oath, if they go under oath, or if they go before interviews? As long as the stories are straight by that point, look, he lied to the American public, there's no doubt about that, but he didn't lie under oath.
What about the timing of the payment? Because there's some theory that if Michael Cohen just made this on his own, and since everybody has known that Michael Cohen was under criminal investigation, that's when Donald Trump suddenly writes a check and covers the $130,000, that could be, in and of itself, considered some sort of obstruction.
Unless they have a tape on Donald Trump saying that I know this was to help Michael Cohen to prevent me from getting in trouble, related directly to my campaign so this wouldn't look bad. I think it's going to be very difficult to charge him with campaign finance irregularities.
Ken Starr, 20 years ago, in the Bill Clinton-Monica Lewinsky scandal, some of the grounds of impeachment were based on public statements that Bill Clinton had lied to the public, that had used the resources of the presidency to mislead the public. If Donald Trump had clearly lied on Air Force One a month ago when he didn't know anything about it, is that a potential area as well in all of this?
They're all potential areas, but I think the more damaging part of Rudy Giuliani's statement last night was that he fired Jim Comey because Comey didn't tell him whether he was a target or not. That's a problem. I think Giuliani may have tried to help him and actually did help him with the campaign finance problems, but the issue with saying about Comey, it's further fodder for Robert Mueller.
So as sloppy as Giuliani may have looked with Michael Cohen, it sounds like you're saying, well, he might have helped President Trump as far as the Michael Cohen problem, may have created more hurdles for him as far as the Comey episode.
I think so, absolutely.
All right, Vinoo Varghese, criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor. Vinoo, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.